Well, at last, here we are, the beginning of week 5 of Faith, Living, and Learning, our last week together. I really hope that you found this journey as interesting and perhaps as helpful in doing the reflective and self-discovery work as I have found it helpful and interesting and sometimes just downright exciting through engaging you in your work. I want to say again how impressed I am with the thoughtfulness of your work around nearly every aspect of the course, but especially in the way you have so intelligently worked on the 3 films and your own personal reflections on your life journey. Week 5 is really designed as a kind of big picture week. You've done a great deal of work, some of it kind of intensive, especially in life mapping, I think. And you've worked well at doing it. But now is the time to ask and respond to questions like, so what? And now what? And in light of the journey I'm on, how shall I live? What difference does all of this make? I think these questions really, really matter, and we often avoid them because they really matter, and therefore they're really challenging and difficult. I'm eagerly looking forward to your responses as we move through the rest of this course together. Let me remind you again that there's no face-to-face. You have done a great job in kind of adapting to that. There won't be a synchronous session this week either. So I've provided another forum for you to respond to some guided examination questions that we would have done online together if I had been able to work that out this time. I want you to post all of your responses to these examined questions in the same forum so that everyone can see what's going on and what you're thinking about your journey. And I certainly invite you to address each other as well in that process, as you've done so well in the ongoing regular discussion group. That forum is entitled Examine. That forum is entitled Examine. The Examine is an ancient discernment practice designed to guide your thinking. I hope you'll briefly respond to each of those questions. Briefly, but to each. The discussion questions for this week are 2 big, important so what questions. One is, what's the most important idea or understanding that's been reinforced or introduced to you in this course? And the second, how has your thinking been reinforced, challenged, and or changed? Those are related questions, but a little differently nuanced. So respond to both or choose one or whatever you want to do, but do some thoughtful reflection on those so what questions. The biggest element of this final week is what we call an ontology project. Read the directions and the definitions very carefully for this week because it involves really 2 products. Based on your life mapping work, the reflections you've already done, you have both a kind of an artifact and an essay. Doesn't have to be an essay. Maybe you'd like to do what I'm doing right now and actually record a video presentation to load onto the Moodle for us to see. But anyway, the presentation or creation is of an artifact that in some way, shape, or forms helps you to present to me and to us yourself, who you are, your being at this point in your journey. It should grow out of your life mapping. By the way, I'm including one of my life maps, one of the projects I've worked on. You'll see it on Moodle. It's called Arthur's Life Map. This is my final map. The little decoding, the blue boxes are from my life events. The red ovals are my relationships. And the red clouds are my spirituality events in my life. And you'll notice lines connecting all of those because, as you know from your own experience, those are all interrelated and connected. Believe me, there's a story behind every single one of those labels, names, places, dates. I'm also including my artifact or an artifact that I've developed. I'll post that also, and a personal video reflection on that artifact, so that maybe will help you understand what it's all about and give you a little bit of a model of what you might do as well. That's on Moodle. It's entitled, the artifact is entitled My Life Library, and you'll see the video down there near it entitled My Reflection on My Life Library. I give you those as examples. It's not to say to you that's what you should do or anything like it, but just to kind of model a little bit for you you don't have to do it this way. But it should be something creative that summarizes or depicts, captures you at this moment. It's not set in concrete, it's not forever, but it depicts you at this moment. It doesn't have to be original work. I mean, if there's a song or a poem or a painting or a video or something that you think does it better than you could do it yourself, feel free to load that. Make sure you provide appropriate citations for that as well. But you do need to spend a little bit of time explaining it to us. Finally, there's a personal reflection paper that asks you to kind of step back from your life mapping and the reflections you've done to see patterns and themes. There's a set of prompts on the assignment page that will help you do that. Again, so what? Now what? How shall I live kinds of questions. Well, I think that's it for now, except don't forget to do the end of the course evaluation, which is now live for you in week 5. I really value that kind of input. The program needs it, but I need it especially with online courses where we don't get to do that face-to-face. Again, if you have some questions about anything that's going on during week 5, don't hesitate to ask. I'm looking forward to this last week with you, another good week of work from you. I really appreciate spending this time with you. Blessings on your journey. Talk to you again soon, perhaps.